Welcome into Drew's Daily Diamond for Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. I am Drew Martin breaking down the slate of games, the Tuesday slate here. So let me know in the comments below what your MLB picks are for today, where you agree, where you disagree. All is welcome. Smash that like button if you're liking the content here, guys, as we got a bunch of primetime games to get into and some West Coast games as well. As we'll start off here in Baltimore, Maryland, as we got the Baltimore Orioles hosting the Atlanta Braves, 6:35 Eastern start time. It's Max Fried going for the Bravos, Albert Suarez going for the O's. Total of 8, -130. That's the Braves as the road favorite. Atlanta comes in 35-28, 7 games over 500, but -7 units overall on the season. So even though they've been a winning team, they've been burning some cash recently. They find themselves 9 games back of the Phillies coming into action on Tuesday. And this is a team that is banged up. Their lineup is not the same lineup without one of the better bats in all of baseball. And sure enough, they're just 9-15 since the middle of May. Up against Baltimore, 21 games over 500, one of the best records in baseball. They're just 2.5 games back of the Yankees in the AL East. They've won 4 straight. They swept the Tampa Bay Rays down there in Tropicana. They're 14-4 their last 18 games. They are playing great ball. Now, Suarez, their starting pitcher, the 34-year-old Venezuelan, sub-2 ERA, solid numbers overall. Now, granted, some of it is out of the bullpen role, but some of it's out of the starting pitching role. He's likely going to go 4-5 innings max, hand it over to the bullpen. But that's not always a bad thing for the Orioles, the top 5 bullpen by my metrics here. Now, up against Max Fried, I don't like going up against Fried very much. But, the Braves have lost 3 straight games, all in Washington, D.C. They lost 5 units, being priced as the favorite. It can come back to haunt you especially if you've been betting on the Braves. And last year, Max Fried against Baltimore, he gave up 7 runs in 6 innings of work. So this lineup, granted it was last year, saw him pretty well and put up some crooked numbers. Fried has been good, though. Sub-3 ERA. He's been good of late as well. But still, this Baltimore Orioles team, they've been a great bet. We're going to get on them here. Home dog is barking, +120 on the Orioles to start us off for Tuesday. We'll head to the Motor City up next, 6:40 Eastern time. Washington Nationals, Mitchell Parker on the hill, up against Kenta Maeda in the Detroit Tigers. Near pick'em price tag, looks like Tigers as the slight home favorite, -110 at most sports books, total of 8. Washington comes in 5 games under 500, but up double-digit units on the season. They just won 3 straight. We talked about it against the Atlanta Braves, and they're up against Detroit. 1 game under 500, but they are down 2 units on the season. Maeda, the 36-year-old Japanese pitcher, he's been hit around a little bit. 45 hits and just 40 innings of work, 10 home runs as well. So he's been susceptible to the long ball. He's got over a 6 ERA, almost a 6 FIP. I think we get the better starting pitcher here in Mitchell Parker going for the Nationals. He's the 6'4", 220-pound lefty, never more than 3 earned runs in any start this season. So he's he's been very consistent. And he's been great against good lineups. Against the Baltimore Orioles, against the LA Dodgers, against the Cleveland Guardians, he's held those lineups at bay. We get the better bullpen with the Nationals and talked about it. They're up 10 units on the season. We've been on them a bunch. Just have to lay 2 cents here, -102 on the Washington Nationals. The slight dog here, Nationals in the Motor City. Next game up in the 7 o'clock Eastern hour, 7:10 to be exact. It is the Cleveland Guardians and the Cincinnati Reds going at it in the Queen City. Tristan McKenzie going for the Guardians. Looks like Brent Suter going for the Reds. Total of 9, -120. That is Cleveland, the number 1 team in the AL Central, as the slight road favorite. They come in 20 games over 500, plus 16 units on the season. The second most profitable team in all of baseball, just behind the Yankees. They've won 2 straight games. They've won 4 straight McKenzie starts. The 6'5", 165-pounder out of Royal Palm Beach High School has decent numbers overall. Now, granted, I think some of this line is the odds makers seeing McKenzie. His last 2 starts have not been good. He's up against Kansas City and at Colorado. That's a good Royals lineup. And anytime a pitcher gives up some numbers a mile high there in Coors Field, I don't like to kind of ding him too much. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. And he's up against Suter, who looks to be an opener. Try to just get through the Cleveland lineup one time and flip it over to the bullpen. But Cleveland has the bullpen edge here. It's not that Cincinnati's bullpen is very bad, actually 10th by my metrics. But if you kind of cut it down like I like to with the bullpen ratings, I go back to the last 5 weeks. Sure enough, the Guardians, best bullpen in baseball. So Cincinnati's been playing better ball. In the NL Central, they're second right now. It's just Cleveland. They've been a money printer here, guys. So just laying 20 cents on the Guardians. That's the way we're going after this one in the Queen City. Next one up, also 7:10 Eastern start time in Fenway Park. It's the Boston Red Sox with Cutter Crawford on the hill up against the Philadelphia Phillies, and Zach Wheeler commanding a -170 price tag, total of 8. Philadelphia comes in number 1 lineup in the National League, plus 10 units on the season. Now, one thing I'll say about Philadelphia is first of all, this schedule spot. It needs to be brought up, guys. They just played in the London series, so 2 games against the New York Mets, which they split, and the game they lost was they went off as -142 favorites. But now going out, over to Europe, then coming back stateside, we'll see how this travel spot kind of adds up to Philadelphia, their offensive production, how they pitch here out of the pen. They're up against Cutter Crawford, 3.5 ERA, 3.4 FIP. He's actually got pretty good metrics here. Boston gets the off day as well because Philadelphia got the off day traveling back from Europe. I actually think Boston, they've been a little bit surprising here, guys. 33 on the season, right at 500, right in the playoff mix. I don't love going up against the Phillies, but 70 cents here after that travel spot, I think the home dog might be barking. And when you look at kind of the last week, the last 7 days, Boston's actually the hotter lineup, guys. They've been good against righties. So maybe they put up enough crooked numbers here. Plus 150 on the Boston Red Sox. Hey, got them circled here, hosting the Phillies on a tough travel spot. Next one up, we get the New York Yankees. We talked about them. Best team in baseball. You are what your record says you are, and they're the number 1 record, 47-21 on the season. Now, they're on the road against the Kansas City Royals, who have been good themselves. 11 games over 500 on the year, just 4.5 games back of Cleveland in the AL Central, and they're 24-12 at home. I don't love going up against the Royals. It's just this Yankees team has been such a moneymaker, winning 2 straight, 10-2 their last 12 games. They got Marcus Stroman on the hill, commanding a -135 price tag, total of 9. Stroman, the 33-year-old first-rounder out of Duke, 3 ERA on the season, although he did give up 5 earned runs against the Minnesota Twins his last time out. But I think he's in bounce-back form here. He actually, interestingly enough, each of these 2 teams being AL teams, has not faced Kansas City since pre-pandemic, so not a lot of past performance to go off of. And Singer, the 27-year-old first-rounder out of Florida, the former Gator, 2.7 ERA, that's solid. But when you look at the lineups he's faced, it's kind of a weak strength of schedule a little bit. And his last time out, he didn't make it out of the 4th inning and gave up 9 hits against the Cleveland team. Good lineup there. So facing back-to-back, top lineups in MLB, actually even a better lineup. The Yankees lineup overall, best in baseball, best against righties, and a bullpen edge here. 35 cents in the overnight market. I'm actually talking from the Mountain West time zone at 2 a.m. So it's 4 a.m. Eastern, guys. I don't think this 35 cents lasts very long. I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees go off more than -150. And oh, by the way, Juan Soto back in the lineup for the Bronx Bombers. I think they get it done here, guys. I'd bet it sooner than later. It's the Yankees -135 in Kansas City. Next one up, 8:10 Eastern time, Toronto Blue Jays, Milwaukee Brewers. Kikuchi on the hill for the Jays. Looks like Carlos Rodriguez on the hill for the Brewers. 8.5 being the total, -115. That's the Jays as the road favorite. Now, Carlos Rodriguez, this is an interesting one, guys. I don't know. I haven't watched him pitch very much, but doing the research, there is so many Carlos Rodriguez in MLB. I almost couldn't find him. I had to Google him, put in Brewers. Well, his numbers come up. AAA Nashville, he had over a 5 ERA. This is his MLB debut. He does have good strikeout metrics in the minor leagues, but he also has bad walk metrics. So we'll see if this Jays lineup can kind of use his control issues in the minor leagues. Plus, he's going to have likely, nerves running. I wouldn't be surprised if you can find one of those props with how many walks, things of that nature. I'd probably look to be betting it up and over. But Kikuchi going for the Jays, 3.4 ERA, 3.1 FIP. His last time out, 6 innings, 1 earned run, and that was off of 1 swing of the bat, a home run against the Baltimore Orioles. So I think he can kind of add on to that. The Brewers, we were on them last night if you watched the show, but actually going to look to go against them here. I don't love this play. They are up 10 units on the season and 19-10 at home. And Toronto still under 500 on the season, but they've been good against righties. The thing that did it for me, guys, is the lefty-righty dichotomy for the Milwaukee Brewers. They're one of the best lineups in baseball, but they've done most of their damage against right-handed starting pitching. Actually, against lefties, they're a bottom 10 lineup. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit here against Kikuchi. I think he can kind of double off of that good performance against the Baltimore Orioles. Laying 15 cents here with the Jays. That's how we're going to go with this one in Milwaukee. Few games left as we'll head to the night slate. Up next on the West Coast, it's the Chicago White Sox and the Seattle Mariners. Woo on the hill for the M's. Drew Thorpe on the hill for the White Sox. Total of 7, minus 220. That is the Mariners at home. We talked about this matchup in the first game of the series. The Chicago White Sox on pace to kind of be one of the worst teams out of any of our lifetimes, no matter how old you are watching the video. 17-50 on the season right now. That's a 254 winning percentage for the year. They have been burning cash, minus 25 units on the season. To make it even worse, guys, they've played 32 road games so far this season. They've only won 5 of them. They're 5-27 on the highway. Overall, they're 3-20 their last 23, 2-16 their last 18 games. If you're ever looking for a team that's fade city, the White Sox, absolutely. That if you're betting the White Sox, I mean, it's probably time to call one of those 1-800 gambling anonymous numbers. Drew Thorpe, doing the research here for him. Cool first name, but he's making his MLB debut. AA Birmingham, 23-year-old out of Cal Poly, 6'4", 210 pounds. He does have good minor league metrics. I mean, for a ball club to be calling up a 22-year-old, obviously they believe in him. Not like they have anything else to lose, 17-50 on the season. But he was 7-1 there for Birmingham, sub-2 ERA. Could he have a good start? Sure, I could see it. But at the same time, he's up against Woo here for the M's. We've been on him pretty much every time his rotation spot comes around, guys. And they've won all 6 Woo starts this season. 0 earned runs given up in his last 2 starts combined. That's over 12 innings. We get the better team against handedness of pitcher, the better lineup overall, and the better bullpen. That is the Mariners as the home favorite. The thing here, guys, is it's more than $2 on the M's as the home favorite. So we're going to do the same thing as last night. -1 run line. Now, if they just win by 1, we don't win the bet. We push on it. But still, we got to get this number down a little bit. Don't love laying 220. So we'll go on the Mariners -1 line. Got one game left here, guys. But a reminder, if you're liking the content, please smash that like button and comment below your MLB picks, what you think of the video, where you're watching from. All is welcome, guys. It helps the algorithm out as well. And if you're looking for a premium package, check me out at WagerTalk.com, experts page Drew Martin. There's a special $77 for 7 days of service. So maybe check that out as well if interested in premium picks. We got last game on the card here, guys. San Diego Padres hosting the Oakland Athletics. It's JP Sears, the lefty, going for the A's, and Randy Vasquez going for the Friars. -155, that's the Padres as the home favorite. Total of 8. JP Sears, sub 4 ERA. He's a lefty that changes speeds well, fastball, changeup, keeping lineups off balance. He's gone 6+ innings in his last 3 starts. He's up against Vazquez, the 25-year-old Dominican, just 1-3 on the season, up over a 5 ERA. And for whatever it's worth, he had over a 7 ERA in AAA as well. So he's not throwing the ball all that well. And talk about lefty-righty dichotomy. The Padres, there's no other team in baseball that have this big of a dichotomy. Against righties, they are one of the best lineups in baseball, actually the second best in all of MLB. But against lefties, they're a bottom 10 lineup. Hey, they get a lefty here, a pretty good one in JP Sears. I think this lineup's going to struggle. I think this number's too high. 55 cents here. We'll jump on the underdog in Petco Park. The dog is barking. Plus 140 on the Oakland Athletics to end it for the Tuesday slate. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Smash that like button. Cash those tickets. We'll be back for Wednesday's show. Stay tuned for it.